Hello, morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think we can get started. Yeah. Hello and welcome everyone. Today is December 16. This is the Metal Cube community meeting. Just a reminder that this meeting will be recorded and posted later on the Metal Cube YouTube channel. So if you have any items that you want to discuss during the meeting today, then please go ahead and add it to the agenda. Also, please add your name in the attendees list. Um, I will quickly share the link to the document on the chat here if you want to add something. Good. As usual, to start with, if there is someone new on the call or didn't have a chance like previously to introduce themselves, then please go ahead and give us a brief introduction about yourself. And meanwhile, I will try to mute my microphone. Okay. I think we don't have anyone new on the call. So I think we can get started. Before we jump into the actual agenda, just one reminder. In the previous meeting, we were not able to finish the items in our agenda. So this is kind of exceptional community meeting, but usually it's bi-weekly community meeting. And one thing I would like to ask you that um, we were having some votes to either have the next community meeting, which was supposed to be on 23rd of December, but since it's a holiday week in everywhere, so like I see that most of the people have voted for canceling it, but still you have a chance to vote. And then the same for the next one in 2021, which is 6th of January. So I see that there is more votes for keeping the community meeting on 6th of January, but still just go ahead and if you haven't voted yet, and then we can just see what is the final result at the end of this meeting. Good. So the first item in our agenda today is from Shukun and how, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrongly. So discussion on automatic network configuration API. This item is from the previous meeting. So Shukun or how, if you want to give some updates.
Yes, yes, okay. I'm Shukun, and this proposal is about to create extend the scope of Metacube to enable Metacube to manage the related physics network devices, and finally enable Cap3 to configure those related physical network devices before provisioning a bare metal device, bare metal machine. So that's the purpose. And last week, I wanted to, because this is a quite a big proposal, I think, so we cannot do every decision by ourselves. So we want to involve more people to attend, to join us to discuss this proposal. So I write this in agenda and create a doodle for arrange a meeting to discuss this. But actually, we have already had the meeting last Friday afternoon with some community members. So, and in that meeting, we have discussed a lot, and there's a lot of things need to be changed in current pull requests, in current design. So I cannot explain this the design according to this proposal, but we will have a weekly meeting on every Friday. That's the result. That's one of the results of last Friday meeting. So, so here I want to tell the community, tell this to the community to join us if you have interest about this proposal. You can join us on Friday. Um, and the timetable, and because last week the member I think is mainly from Finland and Tokyo, so we decided the timetable at 4 p.m. in Tokyo. So this may I think in UTC will be 7 a.m. maybe. But we can change that if you if the time is not suitable for you, and if you want to join us. So please let us know if you want to join, and we will have the discussion there. And if we make everything agreed in place, we will have a review, continued review from the community. That's all from me.
Great, thank you very much, Shukun. Yeah, there was a meeting last week based on the votes for the time that was scheduled on the doodle. But Shukun, would you mind to please add the date for the next meeting and the time here on the document so that everyone
Okay.
is
Sorry
aware
for
of
the
that?
missing.
Yeah, and I think the link to join for the meeting, you are using the same Metal3 community Zoom link, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if you could just also mention that, that would be great. Cool. Is there someone that has some comments or feedbacks or any opinions on the proposal or in general on this idea?
Hi, Dmitry here. I wonder if there's any interest in integrating this with Ironic, because Ironic does sort of a similar thing, at least in terms of switch management during provisioning and unprovisioning. And there may be significant overlap. There are also features I see in the document that are not represented in Ironic. But just as something for you to consider is, it might be one of the options to look into doing this in Ironic or with Ironic.
Yes. So we haven't decided the how to implement this proposal. So this is one of things to be decided in the meeting, and we will also consider the current way or current tool we can use to avoid recreate everything.
Okay, cool. I've tried to be there depending on my availability. 18th December, yeah, not quite.
Okay, thank you.
I think the previous meeting was also recorded, if I'm not wrong. If yes, maybe it would make sense to add the link so that others also can see the discussion, because I think it could give more ideas as well. Do you have that link, Shukun, for that?
Yes,
I have the link right here. I can take care of.
Thanks.
It.
Cool. Is there someone else still wants to add something? Okay, let's move on. So the next item is for me. There was a proposal for being able to disable or enable this cleaning in Metal3 while doing. Oh, sorry, this is another one. This proposal is about Metal3 user guide. So we have some documentation in Metal3.io website, but it's a bit outdated, unfortunately. Mostly it includes quick starts, like how to get started with Metal3 in general, and the examples that we've shown in there is based on the Metal3 devenv. But we were thinking that maybe it would make sense to have one single document and then try to put as much as we can, so that like newcomers or new developers, whoever is trying Metal Cube, it would be easy for them to try it out for the first time. So we agreed first to start with the user guide, but not like a deep proposal with the APIs. There were some comments that it would make sense not to include the API like deep documentation, but use, for example, GoDoc or something else. So for now, we want to start with a simple user guide and try to kind of include some architectures, how to play, for example, in a small cluster with Metal Cube, like CapM3, BMO, then separately and so on. So the proposal was there, and then I think we agreed to have lazy consensus until today. So I would still ask you, if you have time, please go ahead and review. And if you have any feedback or like suggestions, please leave it on the proposal. Otherwise, if not, maybe we could wait until tomorrow. If not, then we could move on with merging it. Yeah. Is there any questions or comments on this proposal? Okay. If not, then let's move on to the next one. GT, sorry, status of the PR to 292.
Yes, this one here is both about the status and how the community can prevent this from happening again. This proposal was dated back in August 2019. That's over a year. I know it's going on almost a year and a half now. And I understand how it got there and everything, and I don't want to dwell on that. I just wanted to say, how do we prevent what kind of mechanism do we have in place to prevent a PR from going on this long? I know this is a huge proposal now, and it's really been a pain to all those involved to try to get this one pushed through. But is there any kind of mechanisms we can put in place that kind of, hey, if the proposal is getting too unwieldy, can we break it up into smaller pieces and tackle those pieces in a shorter amount of time? Or that's one part of it, and the other part is, how can we get this one here closed?
Yeah, I'm personally not aware of this PR or but if there is someone that can answer to the second question first, how to get this merged.
Well, I know Doug and Dimitri have been very heavily involved lately, and I think Zane was involved early on. I don't know if he's lost interest or what, but Dimitri, can we have somebody take a look at this? I think you were the last person on there to review this.
Yeah, I can take a look at this. I don't have approval powers on bare metal operators, though, so my review will be only informative. I will take a look today. So the first part of your question is a bit more philosophical. I can try to talk a bit about it as a member of another big community, which is ironic. And first and foremost, I can assure you that we're also struggling with this problem of things just getting really long time to merge. From the contributor side, yes, the key is often a smart breakup of patches so that they're not too small. So not too many too small patches, but also not one huge patch. I'm not sure it's the case here because at least 2,000 lines of addition, but I don't know if it's vendored code or an actual code because Go is, okay, I reserve my opinion on Go and vendoring. Anyway, what we also are doing in Ironic community, we have weekly meetings like this, but weekly on IRC. We build weekly review priorities for the whole core team to look at. This includes things we should have merged long ago, things that get stuck on review. We analyze them, we ask people to collect them. We build a list, we ask core reviewers are reviewers with approval powers in OpenStack terms, to look at them during this week. And the next week we check what was merged, what was not merged, and build a new list, maybe add, remove things. and so on. I know some other OpenStack projects did different things. The Nova project has something like review lanes with the also, but a similar idea, but a bit more formalized in some lanes of reviews. Another thing we did, and it worked surprisingly well, is review jams, where we say, okay, this is a huge pile of work. We cannot keep reviewing it bit by bit, so let's allocate 2 1-hour meetings or in different time zones and get it reviewed and done. So we recently did that with a chain of patches, I think 12 to 15 of them, completely refactoring the whole Ironic API layer. And we managed to merge all of them into 2 1-hour meetings. So it's impressive how quickly it can work if you get enough people on the call. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, I can assure you the problem is not unique. I'm pretty sure we have patches hanging for a long time.
Yeah, and I see your hand raised.
Yes, I was just thinking that should we start to having these community meetings also as a weekly meeting? Now we have had these in bi-weekly, but it seems that the whole project has get more people involved and a lot of things happening. Should we start to think about to having these each week? For example, we can decide that in January, but just an idea. What does other people think about it?
I warmly support that because I think I'm looking at the number of topics for today's meeting and also the number of topics for yesterday meetings that actually got moved, not yesterday, sorry, previous meeting that got moved to this meeting. It seems like people have enough topic to discuss weekly.
Yeah, and even if we don't have necessarily each week that many things, at least we can discuss like these PRs that doesn't go forward fast enough, or we can discuss more in details on certain things. So I would say at least I would like to see these to be each week, but yeah, we can discuss this more on January after the holidays and yeah.
I was going to say, I believe earlier in the year we were having weekly meetings and things seem to move or progress better than they do when you go to a two week meeting agenda. Things kind of get lost in those 2 weeks. So I would kind of agree with the 1 week thing, but yeah, I agree. We should probably take it up in January.
Mile, go ahead.
Yep.
Mile, I see your hand raised. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, sorry. The issues with the clicking the unmute button, something that one would think is very simple thing to do, but okay. So I was thinking that we could maybe also restructure a bit the meetings so that to integrate like something like in the optics of what Dimitri was mentioning, like we had until now some time for the issue triage. Maybe we could do something a bit similar for like the pending PR and instead take like, because in those discussion meeting we have regularly like just one PR, someone asking for review there. We could make it like in a dedicated part of the meeting if we have time to, and then go through all those PRs like one by one, like have a list of highlights, let's say highlighted PRs of the week in the same way that Dimitri described.
Yeah, I am +1 for that, like to have a like separate day and date only for reviewing the existing PRs and the proposals. And I think that will just help to move a bit faster.
Yeah, I wasn't actually saying that we would take it out of this meeting, but like like the same way we have the triage right now, that is actually not very like very that useful, let's say, recently, because most of the issues are anyways triaged before the meeting. So instead of that, we could instead of doing issue triage, we could do review triage kind of thing.
That sounds quite good idea, I think, because to be honest, if any PRs are hanging like year and a half, it doesn't, at least it doesn't sound that good if the things not going forward, even if they are being rejected or whatever, but we need to kind of have some sort of a conclusion for these things. So we definitely need to do something for that one. We can't accept to PRs to hanging like, or the proposals hanging like year and a half, I think.
Yeah,
Nor
exactly. And there, sorry.
Go ahead, Mile.
I just was going to say that recently there were a couple of PRs, for example, on bare metal operator side that got this like label set by the bot saying that, yeah, no activity has been happening there for a while, and at the end they got closed. So we could also handle those at the same time, say like decide if we want to keep going with those or if we just close it at that point, but not let them pending. And
Yeah.
sorry, I took Norse time to talk apparently. Sorry, like.
No
That's
problem.
okay. I was just going to say that we could have. I really like the idea of restructuring. So maybe like 10 to 15 minutes end of the call, we can have a triage. But at the same time, if we merge the points by Jean and Mile both, that'll be good. So we have meetings every week, and also we have a restructured format. So for instance, some days discussion points are not too many, so we can have more time allocated to the triage and so forth. That'll be a nice combination of both of the ideas. I think that sounds really good.
Thank you, Nor. Someone else wants to add on this discussion? Okay, maybe we should do some voting for this and like to see like what others as well to think, or we can just discuss it on the Slack or either on the mailing list and then restructure it the way that we have the meetings. Do you think the mailing list would be a good place to discuss it quickly, or like a Slack?
Yeah, I think it would be also good to take this into community meeting in the second one in January, because still we were discussing about maybe canceling the 6th of January, but let's decide it there also that maybe we can have a discussion in Slack and mailing list as well. But let's take this into the, let's say, second meeting in January to maybe get as much as possible people to join on that meeting. So, but yeah,
We could actually, yeah, we could actually send an email saying that this will be discussed on that date, and if you have any opinion to voice and you know that you won't be attending, then please add something either on the document or in the like by answering by email.
sounds
that would
good.
like cover both cases at once.
Yep, that sounds good. We can send the notification or the email on the mailing list. Good. Still, someone wants to add something on this? Okay, then the next item is for me. This is another proposal related to disk cleaning in the Metal Cube. So the idea is that right now when you do provisioning or deprovisioning, Ironic by default cleans all the disks that are attached to the host, while we want to avoid that feature while doing the upgrade, because while upgrading the nodes, we don't want to lose the disk data. So for that, from the Ironic side, it was already possible. It was just some changes in the Ironic code, and that is merged. The second part is to kind of create an interface in the Metal Cube side that that can later tell to Ironic not to either clean it or not, those disks. So the proposal was reviewed. I saw that Dimitri and Dag has approved. It needs some LGTM, but I thought like maybe I will just bring it up in this community meeting as well, so that like you can review it and like leave any comments or the feedback that you might have. And then if not, maybe the same as the previous proposal, we could just move on to merge it tomorrow or the end of this week. Does someone have like any questions or comments on this proposal?
As you know, I'm in favor of it, but just as a question: have you considered, instead of doing this, force deleting a nodes through maintenance and then adopting them again after upgrade? Or does it sound crazy for some reason?
I certainly haven't thought about it, but
sorry, just a question that like then how would you proceed with the upgrade?
You need to write a new image, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so ignore me. Okay. I forgot the details.
Yeah, we're going through the deprovisioning, reprovisioning cycle. The only thing we don't want is the cleaning.
Yep. Okay, any other questions?
And probably also, I'm pretty sure we have discussed it, but still, just to ask, have we discussed using rebuilding for that?
Rebuilding, sorry?
Yeah, it's an ironic operation which pretty much applies a new image to an active node. I think we discussed it, and I think there was some problem with it, but just...
Yeah, if I recall it, like I didn't discuss it either, not even the ironic side in the IRC or not even here. We had a discussion on the issue in the bare metal operator, but I don't recall that we have discussed this rebuild functionality of ironic to do that. But maybe if you could just put a comment on or maybe just share the link for that feature in ironic, I would just like to have a look at that as well.
Okay, I will do. Folks, I have to drop
Sorry.
to another meeting, unfortunately, so let's continue on the bug if possible.
Okay, you don't have time to explain a bit more detail what this rebuilding does, right?
Rebuild is pretty much the same as deploying, but you start with an active node, you don't do cleaning, you just apply a new image. I don't remember why we ruled it out, but I'll think about it a bit more.
I think there was, we have a requirement that we need to clean in some cases still when we do the upgrade and it changes nodes, then it needs to be cleaned. Because Cappy creates new machines and new nodes during the upgrade, right? So that's the reason I think why we can't. But I don't recall having discussed it either.
Okay, I'll write something on the back and not blocking it, just so that we have this discussion in public and recorded.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, see you in New Year. By the way, I will be here on the 6th of January if somebody wants to have meeting.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, bye.
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 Is there any other comments or questions? Okay, if not, let's move on. The next item is from Ashu for the review on tuple requests. Ashu, please.
Yeah, so last meeting, actually, Doug has suggested to push the two parameter disk and NIC into the new proposal. So I did that, and the previous proposal, which contains the firmware, system vendor, and the CPU architecture parameters. So I think I have resolved all the bug review comments on that proposal, but I need someone else to look these two proposals also. So that means I will get the LGTM or some feedback from community guys. So this disk and nick proposal I have submitted today only, and the previous one was around 20 days back.
Yeah, so essentially earlier 147, on the third tab was actually the main proposal, but then we decided to split this in two parts. So the current one, the 152, is the like separated out from the 147. So that's the gist.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now I remember there was a discussion, like a long
Yes,
discussion in the last community meeting.
correct.
Yeah, and there were some comments on like Nick in particular. So yeah.
Creating a rule book around it. So that is also has been submitted. So rule
Okay.
book for the disk. Yeah.
Yeah. Then like please, whoever was involved in the review in the previous one, 147, or whoever has time, please go ahead and review and give in your feedbacks.
Yes, right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next item is, yeah, for me. So like, but maybe we could skip it for now until like we give more time for people to review. To vote here. If you would like to have the meeting on 6th of January. Then the next one is from Sumit. I think there was an issue. There was an issue, and then you have provided some input, and now waiting for further.
Yeah, so I have updated the same. If you see the next lines, this fix was provided by Dimitri. If you could go to the fix part, 232, he has put a comment.
230, sorry, what's the number?
232. You can check the Google Doc. It is linked. He has put a link for fix here.
I see.
Yeah, it was, one word change, but it actually used to break every now and then. So
okay,
if you could see the files changed, you'll get. So it was just a one word change, but it used to break like every now and then. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So this is now working. Yeah, I have updated same in the Google Doc.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Good. The next item from Arwinder, request for reviews on the proposal, or the pull request. Yeah, it's a proposal. Arwinder.
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to request if people could take a look at this. A couple of individuals have already looked at it. Be great to get more reviewers. The proposal, like very quickly, is basically to allow synchronization of labels that are placed on bare metal hosts to be bubbled up to the actual Kubernetes node that runs on that host. We have some use cases that would benefit from something like this. In particular, if we wanted to place labels on a rack of on bare metal hosts contained within a single rack, we could label them as such. We might have other use cases where user intent, for example, a node might be a temporary node that might disappear anytime. So we may want to, again, bubble that up to the Kubernetes node level so the workload placement can take these labels into account. And the mechanism being suggested here in the proposal is basically a controller within CAP-M3, which is capable of looking at both watching the bare metal host object, and also has the capability to actually interact with the nodes within the workload clusters. Yeah, that's pretty much very high summary of what the proposal is asking for.
While I see your hand raised, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Just two very small comments. The first one, could you maybe please fix the markdown? There's a test failing. And once that is done, I think we can maybe go with a lazy consensus on this one, because it has been already open for a while and the discussions kind of calmed down towards a direction that was commonly agreed. So maybe we can just proceed with the lazy consensus.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me. I think the only open item was that. So this is kind of going into the details of the proposal a bit, but we have to specify prefixes used in labels. And the only open point was, where do we place these prefixes? Do we place them in the, I think Doug was saying that from an OpenShift perspective, passing them in as runtime and controller runtime flags would be tricky. So either we would have to create a new API, a brand new API object, or potentially leverage the Metal3 cluster object as a place where these prefixes can be specified. I think that's the only really open question at this point. But I'm fine with, yeah, I'm not sure how the lazy consensus works here in the community, but I'm fine with that approach. Yeah, because this has been open for quite some time.
Yeah, I'm all for the using Metal3 cluster instead of creating a new API on that. And if you put now like a maybe lazy consensus till though there's the Christmas holiday starting now, it's going to be a bit tricky though to get people. Maybe a lazy consensus on first week of January could be, or I don't know. Like, what do you think?
That's fine with me.
Yeah. And if there's any comment that comes about creating a new API, I think it would be anyways quite straightforward to change from using the Metal3 cluster to a new API. But I wouldn't see really a lot of reasons to use a new API for that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Cool.
Any other questions or comments on this proposal? No? Okay, let's move on. Next is from Kashif, Pivoting Blog, request for the review. Kashif.
Yeah, I just quickly wanted to mention about the blog where actually I just wanted to highlight that our integration test has now included testing the pivoting also. And I had a couple of reviews already on the PR. Just wanted the community to have a look into this one. And if you think it's good, please put approval and LGTM, or if there are any changes necessary, please also mention that. And thanks to those who have already commented. Like I have seen Mile and Pirus, you both have reviewed.
Mile, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I was just wondering a bit about the angle taken in this. I don't know, when Feroz was scrolling through, it looks like you answered the comment, but maybe we can discuss it now, a bit clearly and openly, so that because this blog post has quite a focus on the CI, right? Most of the previous blogs were oriented towards the end user. So I was wondering if
well, the goal was that mainly because this is some sort of a test that is actually going on behind the scene in CI, and most of the end users are unaware that they are this is actually happening in the CI. So I just wanted to have it place it somewhere like a blog, and then the concern that you had, that's also valid. I have tried to actually answer that in the prerequisite section, that if there are any end user who would want to do some operations like pivot outside of the context of Metal3, then we have a different documentation where he can look into the details.
Yeah, I think this boils down again to this discussion we had about the documentation, like what is for developers and what is for end users. And I would see the CI more like something for the developers. So maybe it's just ideas, right? Like I'm not trying to make you change anything there. Just a discussion, right? if we were like to focus on the end user, this blog post might need to focus more about what we have right now in the pivoting documentation, but making it more kind of accessible and like in a blog post shape, while the CI focus, like that next paragraph that is just about the CI, could actually be maybe rather going into the documentation of Metal3 dev env maybe, or CapM3 for developers, like when they are making PRs, to like see where this is, because my concern is that when you're developing and doing something on the like one of the Metal3 repositories, you usually do not check the blog post, and like it might go like unnoticed by the people for whom it would make most sense to have this as kind of like an explanation of what's happening under the scene. So maybe like having it as a README file in the actual repositories would be more adapted for the developers' audience. So just this specific paragraph, while we could expand the next one that is about the users actually running the pivoting, and make it more detailed and reflect what we have in the pivoting documentation, but as a kind of blog post format. I don't know, like what do you think of?
Yeah, like I think that's also a good suggestion. So it's just that my end goal is to have it more visible that, for the, well, actually, now that you say, like, I think then my end goal would be to make it more visible to the developers here as well, that your code is being tested, or we are doing something similar to this pivoting operation in each integration test. But I don't know what's best. Maybe I can just fetch the pivoting workflow and CI paragraph out, or maybe change the title of that. I don't know what's the best way.
I think it's nice if we just have a small mention saying that, yeah, and this at the end of the blog post, you could have something saying, and oh, this whole like pivoting thing is tested also in the CI this way, and we do this and that. But the core that is really like explaining things for the developer, I think would better be alongside the code in Metal3 dev env probably.
Yeah, I can try that. So I'll fetch, so I'll maybe then reshape the blog post a little bit. Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a good thing to have a pivoting blog post targeted to the end user. So I really recommend not to shift the whole thing into just a markdown in the repository, but like just select bits and pieces and bring other things in this blog post.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions related to the blog post? Or if you still have something to discuss, you can still bring it up before we move on to the issue triage.
From my side, it's clear. So unless otherwise there is any other question.
Okay. Good. Let's then move on to the issue triage. So the first one is user-friendly BMH status. I think it's from Anwar. As we have it now, keeps utility the image output contains information that is too detailed. The content seems to be the same as what is in the logs. It could be improved by changing it to the end user-friendly string that is short enough to give relevant information. More entries are needed as comments. Okay.
Maybe I would rather suggest here to have just to remove the error message from the kubectl output, and because it still makes sense to have. But anyways, this I think it's more like a feature kind
right?
of thing.
Yeah.
And we can put it like, well, long-term kind of thing. It's not really urgent.
Okay. Long-term priority important. Sorry, the backlog maybe then. Would that make sense?
Maybe. Forgot you have
I see your I see your hand raised.
Sorry, just I think we had one patch that shortens this output from one of our team members, or was it not related to this one?
Yeah, that was about so instead of having provisioning status two separate strings, it was about having one and then link them with the underscore. I think this is another one. This is about the error, not the error, but let me see.
The error message.
The error message. Yeah, I don't know if you have the BM. Yeah, you see this? So we had like separate two, but now it's a single, and then between them there is a underscore.
Okay.
See,
I was wondering if you have still error, or we get it by like dash OEM or something like that.
Okay, yeah, if we just hide the error message from this specifically, like we already have like error true false, so we could just hide it. But anyways, this is discussion for the issue. Let's like if we're just like triaging this, it's feature and backlog. Like, I think it's fine, and we can move on. Sure.
Good. So how to disable after TLS? I got this error SSLV alert med certificate on CentOS from disk. So I consider to change enable after TLS set to false. What should I do? I see Dimitri has answered. This will make hard to rebuild ironic Python image. I see that it's been 27 days ago. The answer, like.
You can probably put it as waiting for user input or something like this. Yeah.
Good. The next one is discussion on the Docker rate limit. Yeah, this is being worked on actually. So we started the discussion here after Docker has announced that pool rate limit. So we realized that we have a lot of Docker images that we're pulling. This is like 13, but actually there are more that I also realized recently. One way that was suggested is that to have a proxy configuration in the Nordics. So we have already Docker Hub proxy in the Nordics Harbor instance. And I was working on that, trying to configure Docker daemon so that we don't have to, for example, we don't have to change every Docker command, for example, in Metal3 dev. So the benefit from this would be the Metal3 dev, because that's the place where the CI is running, and we're seeing the issues in the CI, like in every pull request or the master jobs. So I'm trying to configure the Docker daemon in the Metal3 dev that it tries to pull the image from that Nordics proxy. And then if the image is not there, the proxy will try to download it from docker.io or QA, whatever it is, and then store it for certain days. And then that proxy will be used to serve the images for a while. That way we kind of we avoid the problem of pulling too many images within the 6 hours, for example. Yeah, but this is basically worked on. I don't know if it's what is the kind. I know it's important soon, the priority, but
just make it like feature or any, just as long as there's one label, it will not show up anymore. So yeah, that's enough.
Good. So the next one is use Redfish virtual media without the HTTP server. Hi, I want to use the Redfish virtual media process for my bare metal servers, and I want to know if there is a way to inject network configuration in the kernel image instead of using the HTTP server of Ironic. It seems that Ironic enables the network configuration injection with virtual media. Do you plan to add the feature of injecting network configurations into the kernel image before Ironic Python image starts, Python agent starts? Is this somehow related to what there was a proposal in Metal3 docs? I don't know if it's related to that. No, not this one.
It was the live image.
Live image proposal.
Yeah. But let's maybe just label that feature and take the discussion discussion further on that issue.
Yeah. Okay. BMH stacks in registration error when BMC is not reachable for a short time. Forgot. I think this is solved, right?
Yeah, we have a patch already for that. So waiting for it basically to be merged.
Okay.
Okay, then let's just make a bug.
Bug, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. The rack operation failed. I wanted to provision a Dell server, and before the ironic inspection, an error occurs in the ironic conductor. Is there someone?
Ironic.
Yeah. Maybe I could tag Dimitri.
Maybe we should request some more logs because nothing is so separate.
Sorry, could you repeat?
I mean, recently we did test this out, but no, not with the IDRAC 7. It is with 8 and 9. So 7 we don't have it with us, so otherwise we could have posted our observations.
We should probably redirect this person to the ironic community to have an understanding of this.
Otherwise we can ask for more logs if he can share. If he can share.
Yeah. Okay. What label should I put?
Well, that's definitely a bug, but not on our side, probably.
Yes. I don't want to close it because maybe there will be some discussion from Dimitri. I could put a kind bug.
Just label it bug.
Yeah.
I think that would, because that's what it is.
Yeah. Good. So the next one is request more frequent tag releases. Yeah. I was seeing this, and this is definitely the feature. I see that there has been some discussion and some thoughts. How do we do that? How often do we do that releases? What it should be dependent on, like on Kubernetes or so on. But I think feature is enough. And the last one, extend HCC to detect and classify BMH hosts based on the extra parameters, CPU, system, vendor, and firmware.
Yeah, so since we splitted the proposals in 2 parts, so we have created another issue and you can tag this as a feature.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks. And I think that's the end of the triage and the meeting. And I think we can close the meeting here today. Then thank you very much, everyone, for, oh, sorry. Before that, just I forgot to have a look at for the voting. So I see that we have more pluses on the keeping the meeting on 6th of January, but the next week is going to be canceled because I see more people have agreed to cancel it.
We'll just then need to find a host for the 6th, someone who is not in Finland, because it's a holiday day here.
Yeah.
So let's see. Like we can discuss on Slack to see if someone is interested in hosting the meeting.
Yep, that sounds good. Good, then. Thanks a lot for joining, everyone, and have a nice Christmas holidays, and see you next year, hopefully.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.